Hello everyone and welcome to Nordic English flytying. My name is Stefan and today we're gonna tie a HOTYV in chartreuse and tan. And this is a pattern that we have this true and tried on this channel. We have tied quite a bit of variations of this pattern. Just can't seem to get enough. This pattern is more geared towards the autumn fishing and the late summer fishing, where you have something that's a little more quiet, but with some pow in between the quiet colors. And this is a test, a pattern that Troels himself had tried a lot in fjords and inlets, and it's been a really good fly and a really good addition to the classic with the orange. So here we go, we're tying the tan and chartreuse HOTYV. Here we go. So here we are, we're gonna tie the chartreuse HOTYV. The first thing I'm gonna use here is, well, I think it always is almost, unless it's a tube. The first thing I'm gonna use is a hook, and this is just a light stinger in size 4 like the original pattern is. And then we're gonna put some thread on our hook here. Start by covering with a light base to make sure our materials doesn't slip on the hook. I'm using a white thread, GSP thread 50D. I've almost become addicted to these GSP threads, where you really just can pull and give it some strength. Case in point, when I just had to make the head with a Benecchi thread for the head on the Danish fly, I just kept breaking it because I'm so used to the thread actually having something to withstand the pressure. So yeah, that's my new preference. The first thing we're gonna do is make a tack down here, the yellow bottom, and I'm just gonna use a Simi seal in I don't remember exactly what it's called. It's gonna be linked in the material kit, but I don't know if this is a yellow chartreuse or if this is a green chartreuse. I think it's somewhere in between, actually, and it's a very nice color for this fly. I'm just gonna fasten it down here. I'm gonna make a tack. There we go. I'm just gonna take a little bit more on the dubbing and just gonna make a little bit of just gonna pull it in between my fingers here to get all the length of the materials and all the orientation of the materials roughly the same. And I'm just gonna take the dubbing here and put it on top. It's just gonna give it a little more of a tapering effect here. Just tie the rest down on here. There we go. I'm gonna put in some eyes, and I'm gonna use some easy shrimp eyes in extra small in the color black. I'm just gonna tie them in right where the two eye stems meet each other in the plastic, as far back as you can. And this is something I tell people when they ask me about fly tying for shrimps. It's one of the most important things when you're tying these eyes. Make sure your thread is all the way back up against your materials, because this is one of the places you can really create a gap between your eyes and the rest of your fly. And you're really going to ruin that tapering effect you have going on. So it's a great tip from me, and it's something that I'm doing with all my shrimp flies, always forcing all that back. Now we're gonna have a little bit of flash in. It's just gonna be a Flashabou, and this is kind of glow in the dark chartreuse, I think, or something like that. Not a very vibrant flash, but it matches the color scheme of the fly very nice. I'm just gonna start out with 4 here. 4 strands of flash. I'm just gonna take these and bend them over like so. And then we're gonna put in some rubber legs as well. And I'm just gonna use some silicone micro mini legs from the Thai company. These are, I think, the only small diameter round rubber legs we have in this color, which is why I chose this. Not really that fond of the glitter, but it's not my pattern. It's Troels'. Just gonna put these on top, just two legs. And when tying in rubber legs, it's really important that you don't force your foot immediately, because then you're just gonna have the rubber pointing in all kinds of directions, and it's gonna be really frustrating for you. So take it easy, no pressure in the beginning here. I'm just gonna put it in and see if I can make it fit without these rubber legs going everywhere. There we go. Cut off the excess. There we go. And now we're just gonna take some take a hackle and just, oh sorry, before we take, yeah, we do take a hackle, but we're gonna start out with one of the bigger ones here, just because I'm just gonna have some a couple of fibers sticking out over here. Just rip a bundle from the stem of a big feather here. It's not even that big of a bundle, it's just to densen up this a little bit. There we go. I'm gonna take another hackle. This one is for the palmer hackle for the fly. I want a fairly large feather actually. I want these fibers to be relatively long. Something like this. And I'm just gonna strip off the soft part at the bottom of the feather. Just cut into length. And I'm gonna take with the shiny part of the feather out. I'm gonna put it on the side here. Again, all the way at the top of the tying point here. All the way up. Nice and secure. And then we're gonna take some tan dubbing. And this fly actually requires quite a bit. This seems like a lot of dubbing, but this fly actually requires quite a bit of dubbing, because you have to brush a lot of it out afterwards. And if you don't put enough on this way, you're just gonna end up with a bit of a skinny fly when you start taking your brush to the fly. You can actually see it here. I started out with putting a little bit too little on this one. You can see it's actually just a little bit skinny here on the bottom compared to the one I tied you and showed you in the beginning. It's a personal preference, but I think for this fly you need some dubbing. So just start tying this in. I don't wanna make a dubbing loop or anything like that. It's just gonna put it on kind of loosely, because I wanna be able to take a lot of this out again through the hackle when I turn this around. There. And it might look like I'm over-dubbing it now, but it's just from bad experience of not putting enough on. There we go. Now I'm gonna take my hackle pliers. I'm just gonna fixate it on this tip of the hackle here. gonna take a little bit of saliva and just gonna pull these feathers back here. And I'm gonna start by making a collar all the way around here, and then I'm gonna take it up. And I'm gonna go for approximately 5 to 6 turns of hackle here. Just tie it off. Pull back the materials and just make a finish up here. Just gonna take my thread and I'm gonna make a whip finish at the eye. There we go. Now before I take this Benecchi thread and gonna make a neat head up here, I'm gonna take out all the dubbing, because this is like a silk thread, and if I start doing a lot of damage with my steel brush and my pliers here, I'm just gonna ruin the heads. So wait with that. Just do this first. Just take out some of all this dubbing you got caught underneath there. Don't do like that. I just didn't poke yourself in the hand. The reason why I'm using this hook before I use a brush is actually that I'm more interested in just getting some of the loops of dubbing I've caught underneath the hackle loose, that I'm interested in just roughing up the whole fly. Because if I just take the steel brush and just go ham on it from the beginning, I'm actually gonna I'm actually gonna lose a lot of these hackle fibers, because this brush is just gonna mangle them to pieces. So yeah, be careful with using this, and just use it for sculpting your fly in the end here, because it's very nice, it's very good to orient all your materials the same direction, but it can also be very, very rough at your fly. Let's give the hackle fibers a little bit of a push here, if you're not 100% secure. But yeah. I'm just gonna trim down this flash a little bit. Remember, don't make this an even length, then it's just gonna clump up in between each other in the end, making them a little bit uneven. And now we can take a little bit of this Benecchi thread and just make a nice little chartreuse head all the way at the top here. And there we go. It's the finished fly. It's a really popular pattern right now, and it's relatively easy to tie. Actually, just as easy to tie as the hay thief, I promise. But yeah, it's some new sharp colors. Try it if you want to. It's a proven pattern here in Denmark right now. Great autumn fly. Well, there you are, ladies and gentlemen. The fantastic hay thief in chartreuse and tan, and now you have it here as well. It's a fly pattern that's just come to stay here in Denmark. I think it's one of the only flies that people are fishing with right now. Troels is really good at trying to think up new things, new styles of his flies, and given that he fishes as much as he do, he often has success with these flies. But with this fly in particular, he also tied this one with a foam bag, using on an intermediate line, just fishing it over the bottom, seeing that's really effective in the fjords and the salty inlets. Also here in Djursland. So if you don't have something like this in your box, I urge you to try it. It's not really that difficult, and it's a real fish killer. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.